All right, today I'm going to go over the most important points that I found in chapters 22 and chapters 23. So first, I'd like to start with chapter 22. The main point is about testing, when to test, why to test, and how to test. And to avoid habits, it's easy to fall into habits like, hey, my tests are worth 50 points, or it's Friday, so we're going to do a test. And you want to avoid that. Make sure that they're meaningful reasons that we're testing. Also, it's important to consider that tests are meant to convey what the student has learned. And so we're trying to gauge if they're picking up everything we want them to learn with the test. So we want to make sure that we design our tests and our objectives ahead of the lessons and the assignments for each area. Furthermore, if you look on page 248, you take account that the tests are meant to convey what students did or did not learn. Then you can assign extra work and help them out with remediation, because our whole goal is mastery, regardless of the time it takes. For example, in my class, construction, our students have to learn to read a tape measure first. We can't move on to anything else because every other task, the fundamental will be measuring and marking accurately. And so we have to reach mastery in that area. Chapter 23, it makes sense that scoring guides will help the students, but I really hadn't thought about it in my area, and also with helping with the communication with parents. But it does make sense. It's just another layer of communication, and actually my daughter, her first grade teacher, does awesome with that, where she sends home like a study guide that shows what they're working on in the class, and then it gives how she wants it worked out and how to do the problems. And so she's really training the parents to be able to help the students, and I could see that would help at every level of school, not just with the elementary age students. Also on page 261, similarly effective teachers use assessment data collected from projects, test reports, and various assignments to gauge a student's academic progress. I feel like I need to do this in my teaching a little bit better. There's always room for improvement. I know I'm not the best, and so reading that really gave me something else to look into to help make myself a little better. So what knowledge did I gain from chapters 22 and 23? Really, the test determine the objectives and not the objectives determining the test. The purpose of the test is not to compare one student to others. Tests are used to help the teacher to determine what the students actually learned during the lesson. And then for chapter 23, name the category or trait that will be scored. Keep this simple, a scale of values from 0 to 4. It's most performances, and that is really, I picked up on that because that's what we do. We have students rate themselves individually between 1 and 4 for like a pre-assessment, and then after we do the lesson, we'll have them rate themselves again from 1 to 4, hoping that we saw some improvement. Telling the students the objectives for the lesson, it can raise the students' achievement as much as 27%. I think we try to do that with clearly outlining the target learning area, and then also telling them how they'll know when they're successful on that learning area with the success criteria. A couple questions that surfaced from the reading is, I guess I would like to know more about norm reference test versus criterion reference test, and I had actually never even heard of a norm reference test before reading this. And I also would like to do the assessment with my own students and some data collection and see if there's a difference in my own students' growth. To me, that 27% was a big number, and I'm just curious. I'm not doubting it, but I'm just curious to see if my own students, it would make that big of a difference. Sure hope everybody's enjoying their summer, and thank you so much.